They had been trained their entire lives to believe the United States was weak. From childhood classrooms to military academies, Soviet officers were taught that American technology was exaggerated propaganda, that Western machines were flashy but unreliable, that capitalism produced inefficiency, chaos, and hollow power. They believed their own systems were superior, more disciplined, more resilient. But everything they believed collapsed the moment they stepped inside the airbase. What they saw that day changed how they viewed America forever. It was 1959, deep into the Cold War. Tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union had reached a dangerous level. Both nations possessed nuclear weapons capable of wiping out cities in seconds. Yet neither side could afford open war. Instead, they fought silently, through espionage, engineering, and technological dominance. Behind closed doors, American scientists worked non-stop. Engineers slept beside drafting tables. Military planners simulated global conflicts on early computers. Entire industries were mobilized not just to fight wars, but to prevent them. The Soviet Union knew this was happening, but they underestimated how far America had gone. As part of a rare diplomatic exchange, a small group of Soviet military officers was invited to tour a U.S. Air Force facility. Officially, it was meant to symbolize cooperation. Unofficially, it was a carefully controlled demonstration of American capability. The officers arrived expecting theater. They were not prepared for reality. As their convoy passed through the outer security gates, the first thing they noticed was silence. There were no shouted commands, no chaotic movement, no visible tension. Everything operated with calm precision. Aircraft were aligned perfectly along the runway. Ground crews moved with quiet efficiency. Radar towers rotated slowly in the distance, scanning skies thousands of miles away. The air smelled of jet fuel and cold steel. Inside the main hangar, they were introduced to systems that did not exist in the Soviet Union. Early computer terminals filled entire rooms, processing flight data in real time. Massive cabinets of circuitry analyzed radar signals automatically. Hydraulic platforms lifted jet engines with mathematical accuracy. Every operation was coordinated through centralized command centers where officers monitored activity across continents. The Soviet delegation stopped speaking. They walked slowly between glowing panels and humming machines. Their eyes followed cables running across ceilings. They stared at screens displaying flight paths updated every second. One engineer whispered to another that their own bases still relied on handwritten logs and manual calculations. Here, machines did the thinking. They were then shown the bombers. Strategic aircraft capable of flying across oceans without refueling. Planes designed to carry nuclear payloads while remaining airborne for extended missions. Cockpits filled with instrumentation far beyond what Soviet pilots were accustomed to. Navigation systems automatically calculated routes. Weather sensors adjusted flight paths in real time. One officer later admitted it felt less like a military base and more like a city powered by electricity and mathematics. But the moment that truly shook them came when they were escorted underground. Beneath layers of reinforced concrete, American officers monitored global activity on massive illuminated wall displays. Early missile detection systems were connected directly to satellite networks. Communication lines linked bases across Europe, Asia, and North America. Every aircraft movement appeared instantly on digital maps. Every radar signal was analyzed within seconds. Every potential threat was tracked before it entered U.S. airspace. The Soviets realized something terrifying. America did not react to danger. America anticipated it. What stunned them most was not a single weapon or aircraft. It was integration. Everything worked together. Aircraft, radar, computers, command staff. Nothing operated independently. It was a technological organism, a living system. Back home, Soviet intelligence analysts reviewed the visit in silence. The classified reports described infrastructure decades ahead of expectations. Engineers warned their leadership that matching this level of coordination would take years. Military planners quietly began restructuring programs. Massive funding was redirected toward automation, computing, and aerospace research. Entire cities were built around secret laboratories. New institutes were created overnight. But catching up would not be easy, because what the Soviets had witnessed was not merely advanced equipment. They had seen a philosophy. America had transformed warfare into an industrial science. Power no longer came only from soldiers or missiles. It came from organization, from innovation, from engineering discipline. Years later, declassified documents revealed how deeply that single tour influenced Soviet strategy. It accelerated their space program. It reshaped military doctrine. It forced painful admissions within their own command structure. The Cold War was no longer about who had bigger bombs. It was about who could build smarter systems. And America was leading. Most people today will never know how close the world came to disaster during those years. They will never see the classified reports. They will never read the internal memos. They will never stand inside underground command rooms filled with humming machines. But moments like this, quiet tours inside hangars and reinforced bunkers, shaped decisions that affected millions of lives. Sometimes wars are not decided by explosions. They are decided in silence. When engineers finish wiring a system. When commanders study glowing screens. When visiting officers stop speaking and understand, for the first time, that they are no longer ahead.